Hello, everyone. I'm live. This is a bit of a different setup. As you can see, we have a blank page right here. And the reason why is because I wanted to do something fun for the YouTube channel. And someone actually suggested doing a challenge. I had the idea to do something crazy. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I really, really hope that you're going to enjoy it and that I'm going to enjoy it. But we're going to make a comic together. We're going to make a live comic. And I'm going to be posting questions during every single week on Twitter and on Instagram. And I actually did this over the course of the last week already to let you help kind of guide the direction in which the comic is going. I thought that would be fun. And one other thing that could be really fun is for you guys to join. So if you want to make a short comic, because we're going to make it a short comic, I already have a long webcomic, Recollection City, and I'm rewriting things. It's on hiatus right now because I am focusing on building my creative business and on launching my course. But that is still in the works, and I don't want another huge comic to do. So what we're going to do is make a short comic, and you can actually join along. So I will do one step of the comic process every single week. Today, we're going to do ideation is a word. We're going to come up with ideas today and to kind of brainstorm enough material that we can make a story with next week. Yeah, so that's kind of the introduction of the stream. I see there's some people here. Hi to Simi and Cosmic Kitty in the chat. Hi, guys. Yes, you are live. That's so awesome that you're joining live, and I'm glad that you already love the series. So that is awesome. So yeah, I do want to really invite you to just join along. If you've never made a comic before, just jump in. You're going to get some tips during these live streams, things that I can share with you that will help you if you're new to this. If you already did a comic before, but you're in for doing a short comic, then definitely join in. If you don't want to join in and just want to... oh yeah, I saw it, Jess, it was you, but I already introduced you as Cosmic Kitty, but yes, I did recognize your avatar. Hi, Ruth. Guys, if you want to not join in with making a comic, but if you just want to help me direct this short comic, then you can join me on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm just going to put my handles right here. For Twitter, that is pencils_stories. And for Instagram, that is pencils and stories, just as one big word. And I'm going to put little polls there every single week. Yeah, to help you, make some decisions for me. That should be fun. And that, it sometimes is really helpful to already have some things that you can think about, so you don't exactly start with a completely blank page. That was going to be my first point today. A blank page can be intimidated, and the first way to get something on there as soon as possible is to just, go with some basics, put some basics down, and I let those basics be decided for me. So we're gonna make a light-hearted fantasy story about a creature. So these were the polls on the first two was on Twitter. So I asked, should I make a serious story, a lighthearted story, or a humorous story? And the majority voted for lighthearted. And then I asked, should I do a realistic story or a fantasy story? And you guys voted for a fantasy story. And on Instagram, I asked, should I make a comic about a human or a creature? And you guys voted creature. That was a little bit more, almost 50-50, but the majority chose creature. So yes, I'm very, very excited by this combo, actually. If you want, you can just pick these same three things if you're going to join me. And, just go with these three. You can actually go with the ideas that I come up with today, or just do the process that I'm going to do right now on your own and, come up with your own story. But, it could also be fun if we're going to make the exact same story. It's just that it's going to be in your style with your compositions and everything. So yeah, feel free to steal this story and to remake it kind of in your own, like draw this in your style kind of version of this comic. That could be fun as well. And I would love, if you're going to join, I would love for you guys to tag me on social media so I can see what you make. Yeah, so again, on Twitter, it's pencils_stories, and on Instagram, it's pencils and stories. So tag me, guys. It would be so much fun to see what you're going to come up with if you're going to join. If you're not going to join, just vote in the polls. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram and vote. Yeah, so every single live stream is going to determine what next questions I'm going to ask. So I cannot tell you what kind of questions I'm going to ask this week, but we'll figure it out. Alrighty. So also feel free. Today we're going to brainstorm ideas. If you like, I'm not going to guarantee it I'm going to write everything down, but if you have some brilliant ideas or something, feel free to type them in the chat. That's always the perks of being here live. So yeah, I hope you guys can see everything right. Oh goodness, I see on my screen the text is mirrored. Is it mirrored for you guys as well? That would be so annoying. I just spotted that. I've been looking at my paper. Please let me know. Oh, that would be so annoying and embarrassing. So let me know, guys. I'm going to read the chat. Hi, everyone. Yeah, Ruthie made it live. Katrina is working on her own story, trying to figure out scripting, writing for my graphic novel. Super beginner here. Well, that's awesome. We all begin somewhere. And you're already writing your script and making a graphic novel. Oh, I'm so glad it's not mirrored for you guys. I'm so happy about that. Okay, awesome. And just as pretty much describes my current project. Oh, it's totally fine. Oh, also, before I forget, because Jess reminds me of this, I do have a course that guides you through the entire comic process. So everything I'm going to do in the coming weeks, but with like actual lessons that really explain in depth what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about, but especially like how you can approach this step by step by step. So it's a complete guide on how to make your comic, and that is on Kickstarter right now. So if you go to howtostartacomic.com, I'm going to just write it down here. How to start a comic.com. You can join the Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter will have a very early bird price. So this course is going to be the cheapest that it will ever be on Kickstarter, but that's not the only reason to join. Obviously, there's other perks that you can get. If you back the course on Kickstarter, you can get like an extra workshop. I'm doing a special YouTube video for you guys, and you will have the option to get it with like a monthly live session. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that after the Kickstarter. So that's like a monthly 6 times live session that you're going to get. Yeah, and you can join the first group of students. It's going to be fun. We already have quite a few, and there will be a Discord server that I'm going to set up specifically for this course. So again, howtostartacomic.com. Check it out. Complete guide to making your own comic. I've put in everything that I could think of that I had to decide and I had to figure out before I started my big webcomic. I'll guide you through the entire story process, so you will have a solid outline and a solid story. Then we're going into designs and then on how to actually make a comic page. So with that out of the way, yeah, let's start. We already have something on paper. I always recommend, if you are afraid of the blank page, first of all, just, make a tear in it or something to make it less perfect. And then you can just brainstorm, dump everything that kind of gets in your head, just dump it on paper without any, like, oh, this is dumb, or, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Doesn't matter. Just write it down. Seems as I can't read it. It's a bit farther away. That's actually a really great point. Can you read it better? I really hope you can. Let's focus it. Hello, focus. Okay, thank you. And your thumbnail and pages. That is awesome. Yes, and Simi brings up a good point. If you have a comic, share your comic names in the chat. Yours is called Suddenly a Harem. That's such an interesting title. Because you're here live, just drop your comic links in the chat and connect with each other and stuff on social media. So drop your social media links. Yep. Okay. So lighthearted fantasy story about a creature, and a creature can be very broad. Of course, that can be an animal, but it also could be a fantasy creature, which is fun because we have a fantasy story. So why not? So what I do when I brainstorm, and I have to say, like, brainstorming and coming up with ideas is kind of like my forte. I love doing it, and I just, I could generate a lot of ideas pretty quickly. If this is hard for you, I would go with stuff that I like, just general stuff that I like. If you're thinking fantasy and you're like, what do I like about fantasy? Write down books that you like, fantasy books, or write down any kinds of creatures. Like, for example, let's see, and I would just do, is that called a word spin? Or a word cloud in English. So I would just go do fantasy. We have a fantasy story. What reminds me of fantasy and what kind of stuff do I like? I like unicorns. I really hope you guys can read it. I like unicorns. I like magical princesses, magical creatures. It reminds me of sparkles. Fantasy is usually also like things like, I don't know, castles. And just dump everything. We're not making a story yet. We're dumping everything on here that, reminds us of fantasy. And you can go with anything like realism. Like, what is reality for you? What is realism for you? So castles. And this is like the first thing, like this is like the first kind of like level. If you go castles, then you go, well, kings and kingdoms and knights and all of that stuff. Sparkles can be, certain kind of fireworks, or it can be like magical fireflies or whatever. So fantasy. Let's see. New worlds. Like, it just reminded me of Jack and the Beanstalk, so Up in the Clouds. Just dump stuff on paper. Magical creatures. That could also be like wizards, witches. It reminds me of a few comics with like mashup of animals. And then you get into myth kind of territory. So you get to things like, griffins, or I don't know what else. Centaurs. All that kind of stuff. I guess wizards and witches are kind of like humans, and we're going with creatures, so you can kind of cross that off. But I'm getting to the editing process now. Whoops! Oh goodness, I've not been paying attention to the screen. Sorry, guys. Here it is. Yep, there it is. Oh, awesome! People are brainstorming stuff in the chat. Swords and shields, absolutely. Let's put it here next to castles. Swords and shields. And someone said dragons. Ruth says fantasies. That's interesting. It can be a person, starting out with a person who's fantasizing about something. So I'm just going to fantasies, write that down. And someone said dragons, which is awesome. And then I could kind of think of, because these are already kind of like creatures, and I just would like some more places. So fantasy in space, we're saying fantasy story is basically like it's fiction. So in space, aliens. If you believe in aliens and you don't think it's fantasy, then I apologize. Yeah, let's see. Some more fantasy settings. You know, we have the castles, the sword and shields. You know, unicorns could basically live anywhere. Like, they could live in like a fantasy land, but it could be like miniature unicorns in your closet. And I'm just writing this down because I just want you to remember that nothing is weird when you're coming up with ideas. Don't edit yourself. It's like the worst block you can put on your mind is editing your ideas. Like, some of you might think, why did you think of miniature unicorns in your closet? I was thinking of Narnia, and I was thinking of closets and of unicorns at the same time. So that became like, I don't know, you can go through your closet into a land of unicorns, or you can have like unicorn toys, miniature unicorn toys that you put away in your closet when you go to sleep, and during the night they come alive. Something like that. Yeah. So let's see. Magical creatures. Oh, someone says swamp. That's always a great place for fantasy. Dungeons. That is awesome. Forbidden Forest. I love it. I was so happy when it became like a fantasy story, because I've been watching so much Breath of the Wild Let's Plays, and it's just so, Breath of the Wild is such a good like franchise with all of the stuff. It has like epic fights, but it also has like you know, you need to find a mythical sword in a forest and all that stuff. I love this Zelda franchise. So this is a lot already, and we're gonna edit our ideas later, but let's go to, we already kind of did the creature thing, and the lighthearted I'm gonna keep for story ideas, which I'm gonna get to later. But let's brainstorm some more on creatures. I really hope my handwriting is legible. I don't want to write super slow. Katrina says special abilities. Oh, that could be cool for the creatures. So creatures with special abilities. Thanks so much, guys. This is awesome. Creatures. So it can be animals, warped, humans, and with that I mean things like a werewolf. Oh, I always forget how you write that. Is it just like this? Werewolf, vampire, but it could also be like an elf or a fairy, and then you get into things like you know, mythological creatures, so trolls or gnomes. And the elf and the fairy reminds me actually of like some scary stories. So for example, in the Netherlands, we have this legend of, or legend, what's that called? Kind of like a folk tale of when it's misty, some people claim that they would see like people in the mist, like women, and they would steal your children, kind of like that. So they were called white. What's the English word for that? Kind of like a weird word for women. Probably not. Probably shouldn't go into that much, but let's say like scary creatures, and then folk tales. And if you think that folk tales, for example, are super interesting, you could actually do research. So just go online, see what kind of like myths and legends around your area, maybe, or your country. And that could give you some great ideas. Maybe just take one of those legends and flip them on their heads. You know, that could be a fun story. Yes, werewolf, just with a W-E. What is a cryptid? Is that a creature? Don't know if I've ever heard of that. And I think a lot of these things that you guys are mentioning are things that I probably know what it is. I just don't know the English word for it, but I might actually just look them all up. So we have a Nyx and a Nymph's kind of nymph, and then we have satyrs, and you get into the what is that, Roman or Greek? Oh, it's Greek, I think. This stuff is Greek, I think. Dwarves are always fun. With Homunculus. Oh wow. Simi and Jess know a lot of know a lot of mythical creatures. What's a Homunculus? It sounds like a giant kind of creature. Somebody else said giant. A jackalope. I've heard of that, but I can't remember what it is right now. Sasquatch. I have to look all these up. The Mothman. Oh, we cannot forget Bigfoot. It's a small mini-formed human. I think we're talking about the homunculus. Know what it is. Let's write them all down because I don't know if the chat's going to be saved. I'm just out of curiosity. I'm just going to Google all of these later. Homunculus. Oh yeah, cryptids. Oh, that might be the cryptids, the small humans. I'm actually not sure. Yeah. Just such a general note, if you're doing a short comic and you just want to practice something, like the small mini humans made me think of the is it Gulliver's Travels? And it's on an island with all the tiny mini humans that are tying him down to the ground. Just take a fairy tale. Just take a fairy tale that's in the public domain, and just make a short practice comic out of that. Or just take one scene out of one of those stories and make a short comic out of that. That would be great too. Homunculus is a human-like creature made through alchemy. They're often made out of dirt. Awesome. That reminds me of Einstein. Or not Einstein. Oh my gosh. Frankenstein. Wow. Einstein is an actual person. Wow. Okay. You know what I mean. Frankenstein, Monster Frankenstein. Yep. That's cool. We have a lot of creatures. But let's take what we have. We have animals, and then the warped humans that are basically combined into animals. We have kind of like legends and myths. We could also just, if you go with animals, we could just list a bunch of animals and then do a fun design challenge and see what it looks like when you mix a bunny with a crocodile, just saying something. But in this case, if I would go that route, I would actually just brainstorm all my favorite animals and animals that I love to draw. And one animal I love to draw, of course, is the fox. Nowadays, I love drawing sharks. But I also always like things that just are so pretty are just things like or creatures like deer, cats. I do love cats. And then just combine them with something like really crazy, like an elephant or something, or like I said, a crocodile. Fox X shark, fox plus shark. Yeah, I'm actually very curious what that would be. I mean, I'm no Terry Whitlatch, but I could try. There's a whole myth going on in chat. There's homunculus, but made out of the philosopher's stone. In real alchemy, it's said that they are made out of dirt and other unwanted things. That's what I know. I've never heard of that before. That's interesting. Hi, Gabriela. Welcome to the live stream. We're brainstorming creatures right now. And the chat's really helping me. Like I usually like I know all the fairy tale stuff, but here's like stuff that I've never heard about. So that's awesome. And I'm just gonna Google that stuff. It probably has like crazy paintings and drawings of them. I really, really love, for example, like picture books and illustrations, for example, from Norway. If you look at how they illustrate trolls, and trolls are a thing that are very apparent in Norse mythology, like they have the best drawings of trolls. So I was like in Frozen, it was just like they were just little snowmen basically made of stone, and I was like, there's probably tons of artists who dove into all of that lore, but it's just some marketing person just thought, no, make them cute and round or something. I don't know. It's one of my gripes with the movie Frozen. Yeah. So I think we have a ton on creatures and we have a ton on fantasy. And these obviously are all going to be combined. Like you can make super epic things out of all of these. But we're going to make a short story. So we need something very, very simple. And this is where I would go in and just cross out things that are not the best things that jump out of me from the page and just circle things that I think will be really, really fun. Then you start getting into the editing process. So first, we don't edit anything yet, and then you dive into this. I would just circle some stuff and then combine things together to kind of see if there's any story potential. So like it would be like a fun world that would be great. So you can just have fun drawing something new and interesting. Personally, not the biggest fan of the aliens. Let's see. Mythical creatures would be fun. Like drawing a griffin or something would be fun. I would choose a griffin over a centaur. I love dragons. What is your favorite thing on this page? I might have already crossed it out. If I did, I'm sorry. We have unicorns, magical princesses, magical creatures, castles, swords, shields, dungeons. We have a swamp. We have sparkles. For some reason, I don't know. Sparkles made me happy. Forbidden forest sounds very interesting. I love drawing forests. People fantasizing like a fantasy. This is very specific, but Fantasyland, miniature unicorns in the closet. That was some random thing. Dungeons. I do like the swamp idea, just because I never draw swamps. That would be interesting to look up. Anything in the chat? Nothing yet. Like, I do love the idea of a castle, but here's the thing. I don't like drawing all of the straight lines and the shapes and the, like drawing a castle doesn't sound to me like the most fun thing to do. So I would rather draw a swamp than a castle. And this is totally like, if you have a completely awesome story that is set in a castle, just go for the castle. Especially if you're doing a longer comic, you will have to draw stuff that you don't like to draw. For example, I'm doing a comic that starts out in cities, and it just goes through some cities. I don't necessarily like drawing architecture, but I'm getting into it. Like I'm drawing it more and more, and I'm getting more and more the hang of it, and trying to figure out how to make a building fun looking, and thus making it more fun for me to draw. So yeah, if you do have a fancy story and you absolutely want a castle, then you're gonna have to draw the castle. But we're making a short story now, and this is just for me for fun as well. Doing some weekly comic work again instead of only working on courses and content. So I really, really want it to be fun. Who says a castle has to be that tough? Well, yeah, you can design it the way you want it, of course. I'm not seeing organic structures like the ones in Spain. I forget the name of the architect. Oh, I've been there, in Barcelona. Gaudi? Is it Gaudi? I forgot. Anyway. Swamp was circled. I'm very partial to the swamp for some reason because I have drawn forests before. I love drawing forests, don't get me wrong. Like you can go all out with like bark and leaves and different kind of, plants and mushrooms and everything, but I've never drawn a swamp before. And I would, we don't have swamps in Netherlands. Well, no, we have swamps, but they're not, they're not swamps like, I don't know, New Orleans or something, I think has a really great swamp in the neighborhood, but that's like actually like the cool swamp, with all the overgrowth and and cool plants. So you just have swamps that are just basically grass with a lot of water. It's not really interesting. Castles made out of clouds or branches, yes, obviously. That could be an obviously better thing to draw for me. But yeah, I'm glad you guys have your creative brain on. It's a little bit late in the evening. Yeah, I think of Princess and the Frog. Yes, that was what I thought about too when I thought swamp. I do like the castle made out of clouds. It would be interesting to still really make it look like a castle. Castle out of branches sounds so cool. What if there's like a person who set out to make a castle completely out of branches? And that's like his thing. I mean, it's slightly fantasy, it's not super fantasy, but that could be fun for an idea. And just like you could have like a message of completely impossible project. I mean, one storm and the whole castle collapses, and then it ends up being, I don't know, either a lesson for the character or it ends up that he's actually brilliant because he did something, and then everybody who laughed at him is now embarrassed. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the good stuff in the chat. So we have New Worlds, and then you can combine that with the swamp and the Forbidden Forest. Like combine these three things together, so you make like a fantasy swamp that's kind of like a Forbidden Forest kind of swamp, completely new, that has dragons, for example. That sounds really cool. And then we have creatures, so we can either make the dragon the main character, or we can make one of these the main character. Let's see. I don't know what all of these are. Sasquatch, cryptids, jackalopes. I think a jackalope is some deer creature, isn't it? Is that what that is? Forgot. Nymphs and satyrs. Mm-hmm. I love drawing fairies, but it's kind of a standard thing, I guess. We could also put some of these creatures in the swamp. The jackalope is a rabbit with horns. Oh, that's what that is. That could be fun. Could actually make the main character like a rabbit. And they want to see the mythical jackalopes, and then they want to they adopt him as his own or something. They adopt the rabbit as their own because they're taking pity on the poor rabbit without the horns, like the poor bald rabbit. That could be fun. Let's see. You know what, guys? I'm just gonna Google some stuff. I'm gonna see what a Sasquatch is. Yeah. Oh, it's another term for Bigfoot. Ah, okay. How do you write that? Sasquatch. Just want to see some pictures. Hello? was like a big like gorilla creature. He's stomping around in the swamp. Interesting. What does a jackalope look like? Oh. It's kind of pretty though. Oh, that could be fun. I'm thinking jackalopes in swamps now. Interesting. Hmm. You know, I might actually, because we're just gonna, combine some first ideas, and I'm gonna just later on probably Google some stuff. Doodling is the best brainstorming, says Jess. Jack and the Beanstalk, says Katrina too. The Swamp Thing with magical creatures coming from the clouds. That sounds so cool. I'm just gonna write your ideas down. I'm just gonna steal your ideas. Jack and the Beanstalk with. You could also just go into the clouds and there is a swamp. That could also be fun. With magical creatures coming from the clouds. I hope you can read what I write. Yeah, jackalopes look really cool. I'm going to circle them. Where are they? Here are they. I really like your idea, Katrina. I might just steal your idea for the comic. It would be awesome if you would make it too. No pressure though. Just you guys do what you want. I'm not in favor of the scary creatures. I always like special abilities. You know what I really like? One of my favorite story tropes is like a team of people where everyone has their own special ability or their own special talent, and they come together as this group of people who have nothing to do with each other, but as a team and with all their abilities, they save the day, or they are, just an amazing group. It's like that's one of my favorite story tropes. I'm not in favor of the like werewolves and vampires. It's still kind of human-like. We need creatures. I just love drawing animals. So the jackalopes are very, very interesting. We can have trolls and gnomes in the swamp. Not sure about that. Like you can just use these for background as well. That's why it's sometimes fun to just keep your initial notes. Can't have multiple magical creatures. Like have and nymphs and trolls and dwarves. Like have them all. But it's going to be a short story. Don't make it gigantic, Enrique. Don't do it. Okay. I really like this idea and the jackalopes. Yep. So I'm just going to turn these out so we can see them next to each other. And then combine. See if this sparks any new ideas. So we have like swamp, and it's like forbidden. Make it new and fresh. My handwriting is suffering. Let's see. Swamp with sparkles. Make it a sparkly swamp. And it has jackalopes and animals. And we have the Jack and the Beanstalk idea with magical creatures. So you see how far are we at? Almost a little over half an hour. So that means that, in half an hour, you can brainstorm like a lot of things. I think we started like 20 minutes ago. So in 20 minutes, you go from blank page, just all of this, and you don't, edit as much. Now we're getting all to the editing and then coming up with new ideas again. So go out of editing mode and into, brainstorming and everything is fine mode again. And just go and go and go until you have like a lot of material where you think like, oh, I could actually turn this into a story. And that's where we're going to stop, and we're going to continue next week, because I don't want to make these things like later on. Later on in this series, like we actually are going to make the comics, so it's going to be drawing and it's going to be inking, and that's when the live streams might either be a little longer, or I'm going to do that on Twitch and then edit the video and put it on YouTube. I don't know yet. If you want to see me drawing for like 3 hours, that could be fine. I would have to start a little bit earlier in the day. Yeah, because after 9:30, I'm not clear-headed anymore, and it's like 9 o'clock right now. So yeah. Let's see. What does the chat say? Why is it forbidden? Asked Ruth. And who decrees? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Those are really good questions to ask. So yes, that's a really good point. Thank you. So yeah, you could go, where's the swamp located? What is the temperature in the swamp? Who is living in the swamp? And then why is it forbidden? Who says it's forbidden? Stuff like that. Why is the swamp sparkly? So you can just ask yourself questions like who, what, where, with who, why, those kinds of the W questions. How, it's not a W, but it's one. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just seeing these two together. I'm like, jackalopes and sparkles, and it's just going to be really pretty, and I like it. Let's see. I'm just thinking swamp with like a lot of fireflies. Or you can just make it a swamp where the magical creatures are holding parties, and that's why it's sparkly, because there's like little fairy lights everywhere. That's cool too. Let's see. So we go with swamp, and it's either like that could be also fun, like it's a party inside, or it is very mysterious, and that's why it's sparkly inside. And then the party can be forbidden because it's like VIP creatures only, and then the jackalope is not VIP enough, and they're trying to sneak in, or there's a high VIP. You get the like unlikely friends trope, they have another creature in there, like I don't know, a nymph or something, and they are VIP because they're a nymph, and they're like, well, just gonna sneak the jackalope inside the party, something like that. So why else can it be sparkly? Why could a swamp be sparkly? Could also be just a magical swamp with special properties. And that's why it's forbidden too, like it's only for high magical creatures. Who is blocking entrance? What do you call it? Forbidding entrance? Is it like is it like kind of like a boss of the swamp? Or is it like a VIP party? Or is it because there's guards because of the special properties, and they are guarding like entrance to the swamp? Is it because only magical creatures allowed? See, I'm just combining these ideas. Like, who's blocking? Well, we have a party, we have mysterious kind of like swamp area, we have magical swamp with special properties. So I'm like, well, that needs to be guarded. And I'm looking at a magical swamp. Well, only magical creatures are allowed. Ruth says there's a ceremony about to start and they're decorating. I love that. Gotta keep it a secret. It's just those are very special decorations. It's awesome. Just as sparkles could be a flower or pollen. Oh, I love it. Sparkly flower. That is awesome. Katrina asked for my Twitch name. I don't have a Twitch name yet, but it will probably be Pencils and Stories if it's available. Because I've never been on Twitch before. That's why I'm like thinking about it. From what I hear, you need to be on Twitch for a long time. You need to stream like a lot and stuff. But then again, it would just be maybe for you guys. So if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you'll probably know if and when I do a Twitch name or a Twitch account, and then go stream over there, unless you guys really like watching stream here on YouTube or you want an edited version. Let me know in the comments or let me know in the chat what you would like. Would you like an edited down video of me drawing and inking and stuff, because that's probably going to be the longest, or do you want like the full live stream here on YouTube, or would you rather watch on Twitch? I've done a poll on Twitter, and most people like to watch art streams on Twitch. So yeah, that could be a thing that I could try out. I've never done it before, but I suppose it's the same as this. Yeah, and I hope it will be a little bit better for, well, probably still need to use OBS. And that's why, I'm doing YouTube live right now. And, that's good because this is the most stable live stream. And the moment I put in any more things like sharing my screen and sharing my face at the same time, my computer does not like it when I use OBS. So that's why I was like, maybe Twitch from my iPad would be good because my iPad's probably more stable. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking about Twitch and then just, editing it down and then putting it on YouTube as a regular video. Let's see, VIP party special decoration. Let's see. Simi says maybe he can join since only creatures can only help decorate if you are over 100 years old. Oh, that's a great idea. It's like an age limit. You guys are really into the decorating idea. I like it. It's a lighthearted story, so that makes a lot of sense. Did we determine what or who the party might be for? No, we did not yet. That's also a great idea. If we're going with the party, that is. So yeah, we have Forbidden Swamp with Sparkles, the Jackalopes. I mean, just because you put all of this down doesn't mean you have to use everything. It would be really fun to have like a party with magical creatures, so I could just draw all kinds of magical things. That would be really nice. Let's see. I do like the sparkly flower and pollen. Ooh, maybe they are celebrating the once every 100-year sparkly flower blooming. Like the flowers blooming, and that only happens like once every 100 years. But then there's like this rule that you have to be 100 years old or something because you need to be close to the flower's age. I don't know. Special decorations. Special decorations. Let's see. Well, we can go from this from a different angle as well. So the Jackalope is going to be our main character. I really, really like them. And I do really want to design one. So the Jackalope is going to be our main character. And You guys are very enthusiastic about the party. Let's go with the party idea. By the way, if you guys are watching later and you see any other ideas in here that you like, feel free to just use them and make your own story about any of this stuff. You don't, if you want to create a long, or just want to create some story ideas. I like to do that sometimes. Just have a, just brainstorm some ideas for stories. Just brainstorm stories. You could even sell the story ideas online or just put them online for people to use. Like you can do all of that stuff. So coming up with stories is super fun, and feel free to use this this stuff that we brainstormed together. Let's see. Could also have the flower be a necessary decoration and go on a quest to obtain them from the Forbidden Forest. Or a special space cloud flower. Think of the Jack and the Beanstalk idea. That could be, it could be cool. Like then we're probably stretching the story now, but what could be really fun is for, somebody to, every once in 100 years, there's this giant beanstalk that reaches up into the sky that grows overnight. And we could also just, instead of a beanstalk, make it a giant sparkly flower. Could do that. It reaches into the cloud, and there they need to find the seeds for the next beanstalk or the next flower. So up in the clouds are the seeds that they grow, seeds that they collect, I guess, from flowers up in the clouds. And every 100 years, one creature is allowed to go up and get some more seeds so they can grow these flowers and beanstalks. So, in 100 years, they can go up again and the cycle starts again. And then, the jackalope isn't really allowed around that whole ceremony thing. And then I'm getting into story already. But what could eventually happen is that the jackalope is the only creature who, can eventually go up. And then we would have to find a reason why that would be a thing. But then they can prove that jackalopes are awesome, and that they can get the seeds and they save the day, something like that. But now we're really getting into story. Because what I wanted to share is you have your main character jackalope, and he has a problem, and it's very obvious. He cannot get into the party. That's a simple obstacle. They could also be responsible for a certain kind of decoration, and that is not, they lose it somehow, or they have to, it blows away or something, and then they have to go through the swamp and ask all kinds of creatures where the decoration went, so the whole party isn't blown. They could be every so often, there will be some little creature that has kind of like you do it with children sometimes, you give them certain tasks, important tasks in ceremonies and stuff, and they take it super serious. And this poor jackalope, he messes up and he needs to make it right, and that could be the story as well. So it'd be cool if you have a main character that has a obstacle. So let's just go with the VIP party because it's a lighthearted story. It's real fun. Let's see. And they're jackalopes are supposed to be these young kind of creatures. The decorations we had, sparkly flowers, real nice. Yeah, it's like a magical swamp with a sparkly flower. There's a VIP party going on to celebrate the blooming of the flower. Seems says, I could imagine a character in the background fold or cut out the flower should bloom as decoration. Oh no. That is funny. I love that. Um, so what do you think, guys? The jackalope is not allowed at the party, or the jackalope has a special kind of function at the party? I really like the idea of the jackalope trying to sneak in to the party, and then they get caught, and then they're caught in the middle of this crisis that's happening, and then the jackalope saves the day. We need to make it a short. We need to make it a short story. um, I really like that idea. So we have a jackalope sneaks in to party, gets caught, but takes the opportunity. Oh, I'm outside of the screen again. Opportunity to save the day. That could be fun. So we already have the obstacle and the resolution. So that's funny. Scheme says he's too clumsy. Everybody worries that he will mess it up. At the end, he is the one that saves the day, and they learn that the point was to celebrate happily together, don't stress. I love that. You're getting to the you're getting to the message part of the story, and we're really diving into story. So we're gathering kind of like we already are going into story right now, and I said that I would save it for next week. So I think we're gonna end it. I'm gonna write that story down, that story idea down, that message. I mean, because that is really cool. Jackalope is clumsy. I'm running out of space. Everyone worries. In the end, he saves the day. And everyone remembers it's about fun and not stress. You wrote it down much better, but I will remember what you mean when I read this. Awesome. So I think we have like a ton of stuff that we can work with and that we can use in our story. And this is where we're going to end this stream. And we're going to take all of this. I'm going to like make it neat and and readable. Yeah, and then we're going to actually, outline a little story, and I'm going to show you what I did. And I showed you this in my video about the 24-hour comic day, which is a 24-page comic, which we're not going to do. That's a lot of work, and I'm not going to make that in live streams. We're just going to make a 1 to 2, maximum 3, but I really don't want to make it 3 pages. I just want to do a really, really short comic. And I'm going to show you my process, how I would go about that. So thank you all for watching. I guess that's it. Leave your comics and your social media in the chat. If you have any questions about all of this, if you just want to share, what you're maybe going to do, maybe you're gonna, join in. This is harder, I guess, to work along with. Because I'm talking a lot. But you could just, after this video, you can just sit down and brainstorm your own story. See how kind of easy and quick it is to brainstorm a bunch of stuff and just go from things you love to, like, just write down on the page things I love, and then brainstorm all kinds of things you love, and then combine everything together. And in the end, you'll have like all kinds of notes and just combine things, and you might just end up with a story. So yeah, I'm going to ask you some story questions next, and probably going to ask you where to post and everything. So I'm going to make a poll for that on Twitter and on Instagram. So follow me on Twitter, pencils_stories, and on Instagram, pencils and stories, just as one word. Follow me there, vote for the poll. Also check out my Kickstarter. It will be running until before the end of February. February 23rd is when the Kickstarter ends. That will be your last chance to get all the extra goodies and to start with the new group of students like at the same time, and also to get like extra live streams, but also to get it for the early bird price. It's 129 euros right now, and it's probably around 50% off of what it will eventually be. I will gradually increase the price, but it's pretty long. It's pretty elaborate course. It's 24 lessons, 4 modules. Like I said, I will take you through the entire process, ideation, like this. I have an entire module. Like I'm going through this now in, a quick, very quickly in a short amount of time, but I will give you an exact process you can follow to do this. And I will give you assignments after each lesson, and every single lesson you will take your comic one step further. And if you follow along, you can actually have the first pages of your comic ready in September. So definitely check it out. Go to howtostartacomic.com. That's what a Kickstarter is. Get it for the cheapest price possible. Get it as quickly as you can, and be part of the group of students. That would be super fun. Join the Discord, and take advantage of the live sessions while they're still here, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing that. See if I missed anything in the chat. Short stories have never been my specialty, so just me neither. I make giant stories. I can do it if I really, but that's gonna be the challenge. Like edit. Make it as short and sweet as possible. Yes, thank you guys for watching. Next time it's just next week. I think I'm going to do 8 o'clock just for the short stuff. I don't assume that story is going to take me super long, just because we already have so much stuff. So I'm just going to do it at 8 next week, and then when we're going to do like larger things like thumbnailing, really curious how that's going to be, because thumbnailing takes so much of my brain space. Like thinking and talking at the same time, like that might be a thing where I don't know, go on Twitch and just put on some music in the background or something. Yeah, so next week just tune in at 8 p.m. I'll try to think kind of like a schedule. Also, let me know in the comments again if you would like to do the entire process unedited here on YouTube in terms of drawing and inking and coloring and stuff, or you want me to do a Twitch and then edit it. Let me know. See, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, Simi. That's awesome. Katrina asked, will you go over marketing? That's very interesting. That's interesting. I might actually do that. Oh, or you mean in the course? In the course or here? I'm not sure what you mean. In the course, I will talk about the platform that you want to be posting on. So I help you choose your platform in the lessons. And I don't necessarily have a specific lesson on marketing. That's interesting. You know what the thing is? I didn't want to make the course like gigantic in terms of, oh my goodness, you will never get through it, because I don't finish those kinds of courses. So I really try to find the balance between giving you all the info that you need to make your comic, but then not go super overboard. I do have some thoughts on marketing, and I am thinking of just doing master classes in general after I deliver the course, which will be like in September. That's when I will have the full course delivered, and then I can just focus on creating new content for it later. But I'm thinking about doing master classes that I will make available for my students, because I just want to, I want to keep adding value to this course, because it's going to be like my big flagship course. And marketing is definitely something that I could go over in a masterclass. As of right now, I don't have a specific lesson on marketing. Just want to be honest with you. There will be sprinkles of it during the course, but no, it's not necessarily a marketing course. If you want to know more about social media, I can actually do a shout out to my friend Enya Marcos. She regularly hosts a course on social media and how to use social media as an artist. Is her Instagram Anya Marcos? I think it is. It's gonna type her name. You can 100% find her online. I'm gonna type her name in the chat. Hello. There it is. That's her name, and she regularly does this course. I think she just finished it, but that could be interesting. And then, yeah, he said, I like to do a mini comic to promote my future story. I consider this marketing. Yeah, sure. What I suggest in general is just, what really worked well for me was sharing behind the scenes stuff before my comic was live. So if you have little short stories or you have little sketches and things that relate to your comic, you can kind of hype people and you can make them excited for when your comic is launching. I did countdown images. I shared sketches. Introducing your characters would be really nice. But a mini comic, I mean, comics in general are marketing. It's kind of weird. You have selling and you have marketing. And selling is where you're actually like, hi, I'm doing commissions, for example, or I'm available for comic work. That would be like, you're making advertisements for yourself. And marketing is kind of putting yourself out there. It has to do with, being visible, showing what you have to offer and stuff. And a comic is basically marketing as well. Just sharing sketches on your social media for your webtoon, for example, that is marketing as well. So yeah. And just content is king in this age. Like, you can do advertisement, obviously, and if you have really good content, that will bring you money as well. But it's really, really important that people know you exist and that you have something of value to offer for them. And we are in the right business for that because we make comics, we make entertainment, we make pretty art. It's harder to sell a vacuum cleaner. So, just putting out images and stuff can really entice people. And then commenting on other artists and stuff is a whole networking thing. But yeah, for sure. But no, I just have to be honest. There's no specific marketing lesson as of right now in the course. Yes, say content is king. Yeah, definitely. Yep. So this too is like marketing, what I'm doing right now. It's marketing for my creative business of helping people make comics. It also brings people to my comic because people want to see what I do. Wow, camera shake. So yeah, it all helps. And the thing with content, I keep realizing that more and more is, if you consistently put things out there, eventually it all builds up. Like at first you're like, I'm getting no views, I'm getting no likes, nothing's happening, but you need to kind of like build that authority, so to say. It's like, hi, I'm here and I'm here to stay and I'm here to be consistent. And, this is what I have to offer. This is valuable to me and I hope you like it. Yeah. And I think you create a lot of, like, I would not have been able to get, like, I have 8 students in the course right now. And I would not have been able to, get as many students like in 2 weeks as I would have if I didn't do YouTube. I really think that YouTube has really helped to show you that, I have made a comic and I know kind of how to start one. I have figured out all of the things that you need to figure out. I've struggled with size and panels and what brushes to use and, how to write a good story and, how to design my characters, that whole process. I went through all of that. And, I've been art blocked before that so long. And I just want to help people not get stuck in that and help people get out of that faster than I did and get started on their comics faster than I did. So that's a big reason of why I'm doing this YouTube channel as well. Like I'm always like, I learned a ton of stuff. Like I learned so much just from being an art block, and like, how do you actually be productive? How do you actually keep a schedule? How do you actually, draw all this stuff? And I want to help you get there as well. So, and if people know that, if people see on your social media that you are sharing this stuff for free, and that you have interesting characters, and you do some you have that carousel swipe function, so you can do like little tiny scenes of your characters and stuff, and people are like, "Ooh, this is very interesting. I love these characters." Like, those artists, you see those characters and you think, "Ooh, I want to read a story about them." Like, if you can kind of get that, and you share that on social media, people see that you're for real, that your comic is probably going strong. So yeah, that's like a small rant on that. Small thing on marketing and putting your comic out there. But I definitely recommend just going on building the audience, even though your comic is not online yet, maybe. Yeah, okay. I'm done now, guys. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm starting to ramble. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. It would be super awesome if you guys follow along. Yeah, if you don't, then vote for the direction. Like I said, probably gonna think about like platform where to post this comic and stuff. Yeah. So help me out. Thank you guys so much for your ideas, by the way. They were awesome. It was really, really awesome reading your ideas. And I think if we're going to do this stuff, a lot of this stuff is coming from you guys. So that's awesome. That was my hope, that we could create like a comic together. That's super fun. Yep. Thanks so much, Ruth, for your encouraging words. Katrina, post your social handle in the chat because I'm ending the live stream. Awesome. Katrina Fowler Art on Instagram. Awesome. I'm gonna look you up as soon as possible, writing down your name. I can read through the chat later, so I can see the chat even though I end the live stream, I think. So I can check for all of your social media handles. Okay, guys, I'm really gonna end it now. Thank you all so much for your ideas. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for liking. I see some likes have come in. Yep. See you guys next time, and have a great day. Bye. See you. End stream.